Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Allman, and I'm the Executive Director of the Given Institute. And we are celebrating Women's History Month, and we love all of the women who are part of the Given Network, and we've really enjoyed highlighting many of the religious sisters, the alumnae, and the lay women that are a part of Given. And today we have Sister Mary Elizabeth, who is here to join us and share some of her heart. And Sister, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Sister Mary Elizabeth, and I'm a Sister of Life. Our community was founded in New York by Cardinal O'Connor in 1991, and we were founded to promote a sense of the sacredness of all human life. So we have various apostolates, many of which serve women who are pregnant and in need, or we go out and evangelize on the dignity of the human person in various ways, and have a very special mission of retreats, a hope and healing mission of healing for those who are suffering after abortion. And if you know anyone that could use that kind of help, just hop on our website and contact one of our sisters.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And I also want to share that Sister Mary Elizabeth has served on Given's board of directors for a few years now, and she's a great friend to me and a great sister in Christ. So I'm thrilled to share her with all of you today. But first, since we're celebrating Women's History Month and we're really talking about Catholic female leadership and what that looks like and how we can foster that within ourselves and with the women that we're in contact with. So a question that I have for you, Sister, is who is a Catholic female leader that you look up to? It could be someone in your day-to-day life. It could be a saint. Share with us, who is that woman for you?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just go right to the top, right? So for sure, my model is the Blessed Mother. She's just such a beautiful image of maternity and single-hearted devotion to the Lord, and just beautiful receptivity and responsiveness to grace.
Well, that's beautiful. Could you share maybe a time when the Blessed Mother has been especially close to you? If there's some moment that you can articulate that was really pivotal for you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, actually there's so many. I grew up, my parish was Mother of Divine Providence.
Okay.
And so I just feel like I grew up in her presence. She was always part of our parish life. We had, May processions and the statue of Our Lady, and people would bring flowers, and it was just a regular part of our everyday life. But I guess a special moment would be when I was discerning my vocation. I was in college and going back and forth and feeling drawn to religious life, but also feeling drawn to marriage and motherhood, especially. And I decided I couldn't figure it out on my own. And so I entrusted my discernment to Our Lady's intercession. And I said, I'm just going to pray one memorare every day and trust that the Blessed Mother will lead me. And it was not long after that I just received confirmation and prayer that God was inviting me to follow him as a religious sister. So she's a powerful intercessor.
Wow, that's such a beautiful story. And I've known you for a long time and I've never heard that story. So thank you so much for sharing that. I actually just taught the Memorare to my 6-year-old daughter. There's a lot of big words in that prayer, right? And it was so beautiful hearing her say it and thinking this has been something so dear to me throughout my life, and to watch her learning it and asking me what some of these words mean was just a really special moment. So I'm so grateful to know what an important prayer that is for you. So, Sister, I also want to ask, and we've been asking all the women that have been a part of our March celebration, is what is a leadership tip that you have for us specific to Catholic female leaders? What is distinct about that? Something you can share with all the women.
Yeah. I guess what I would like to share today is the importance of receptivity. I think that it's such a beautiful feminine virtue that we could all use more of, and it's really, I think, pretty countercultural right now in American culture, you know. And I think it's something that we can look to the Blessed Mother to show us the way. You know, when you think of her response to the angel at the Annunciation, you know, just being open to whatever God was asking, and letting it be. And I think we can all do that more and more in our life, is to just try and receive what God is giving through the concrete circumstances in our lives. But also really to just find joy in receiving the gifts that he gives us every day. You know, you think it's the beauty of creation, you know, the sunrise every morning, what a gift. Like, just to drink it in, appreciate it, appreciate the beauty of nature that surrounds us, and to appreciate the gifts of those he has put in our lives, you know, our families, our friends, co-workers who support us, just to really take time to appreciate and receive one another, I think is a powerful thing that women can do. It's also, it's something, it's kind of a virtue that we inculcate in our own formation of our sisters for our various apostolates, because all of the work that we do is very relational, even especially like evangelization, the work with pregnant women or women who are suffering. It all happens in the context of a relationship, giving and receiving, love and care. And I think that it begins with receptivity, with a receptive, open heart. And I think it's really, I would describe it as kind of like a mode of being, you know, being receptive to another, and kind of having an openness of heart. We talk about when we're going to meet with another person one-on-one, of just having an interior state of leisure, so that I set aside distractions and I'm just totally present to the person before me, you know, giving them my undivided attention and really listening and allowing them to speak and say whatever they have on their mind, and just having an open heart to receive them, you know, as a person. And Cardinal O'Connor used to often reflect on just the gift of every person, that God creates every single human person uniquely and unrepeatably. Like, there will never be another person exactly like that. And each person reveals some facet of the goodness of God that has never, ever been revealed before, and will never, ever be revealed by anyone else again. So you think of like how precious every single human person is, and every person that we get to encounter throughout the day has some kind of gift just in their presence, in their being, that they will give us if we're open and attentive and receptive to receive it.
Oh, wow. That is so beautiful. Every time you talk about Cardinal O'Connor, I just think, well, I wish I had met that man. But I'm so happy that now I am so connected with the Sisters of Life, because you are carrying on what he wanted to take place, and really his gift, right, to the church and to the world, and his genius that he shared, and all of you are carrying that out, which is so special. But I love that you share that, sister, and just a reflection on receptivity is so important for each of us. And we are in the midst of Lent as well, and so it's another time as we draw closer to the Lord, and we are celebrating who we are as women, but also who we are as daughters of God, and how the Lord sacrificed himself for us, and how we can receive that great love. And the depth of that love is something that we all can do during this time in Lent. But could you maybe share a story about when you witnessed receptivity in action? And I love what you were sharing about your sisters and attending to a conversation so individually, but do you have another example of that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So this makes me think of one of our young sisters. She's so beautiful. So she was newly professed. She had just professed her first vow. She's probably 25, right? And grew up in the suburbs, and really just a beautiful, beautiful young woman. And I was in Manhattan at our convent on the East Side, and it's our visitation mission to women who are pregnant and in need. And there was a couple there that had come in. They were immigrants and had really been through a lot, and needed just some. They came looking for some food and clothes, some baby clothes and things. They had a newborn, and we had helped them during the pregnancy. So there she was she had invited them into our little dining room and was giving them some coffee. And I was in the kitchen. They have like a laptop set up. Everything in Manhattan's like really tight. So there's like, I'm in there on the laptop and she's in the other room. And I was just answering some email, and I'm listening to this conversation and watching her interact with these people who she had absolutely nothing in common with, like nothing. And even language, they spoke just a little bit of English, and yet she was so comfortable, and the interaction was actually really meaningful. And I was watching her and I thought, it was so beautiful to see, first of all, just how she opened her heart to them, to receiving them, and was listening to what was happening in their lives. And in her own way, and this is what I think is so powerful, it's like she was reflecting back to them kind of the beauty that she saw in both of them, and in the way that they were caring for their little baby, and just affirming their goodness, the goodness that she saw in each of them. And I think that for all of us, it's like that kind of affirmation that's very genuine and authentic and like comes from the heart. It's like the emotional food that we all need, and you could just feel them. From the other room, I could just see them like being strengthened by the gift of that affirmation that she was giving to them.
Oh, I love that story. And you portrayed it so beautifully. I can picture it now, and I can picture you sitting in the other room listening to this unfold. That's really beautiful. And I think that so many of us are craving that affirmation right now, because we have been distanced over an entire year now, right? We're marking a year in the pandemic. And so do you have any maybe thoughts on how we as Catholic female leaders can continue to affirm humanity and continue to share those, even a simple gaze or a listening ear at this time?
Yeah. Okay, so I was just reading Pope Benedict's encyclical called God is Love. I just recommend it highly. Just Google it, download it. But in that encyclical letter, there's this line that just jumped out at me. And I'm paraphrasing now, but he talks about giving one another the look of love that we crave. And I thought, that is so true, how powerful it is to give another a gaze of love, to gaze upon another with the love that we receive from our Heavenly Father. You think, and how powerful just to think about that all of us are right now being gazed upon with love by our Heavenly Father, and that we live under the gaze of his love. To think of that as like a protection, that we live under his loving gaze. Let me share one other story. It just came into my mind. So, about this kind of the gaze of love, because I think it's something so simple and so powerful if we have kind of the attentiveness and presence of heart and mind to want to offer that gift to one another, how upbuilding that can be. This is a story, one of our sisters, this happened a few years ago. She had just professed her perpetual vows. Her parents were up for the mass, and they were driving back home down to Florida. So it was a long drive from New York to Florida. And they decided to veer off and take a side trip and visit Mother Angelica's shrine in Alabama. So they're like finding their way there, and they decide they're going to stop somewhere. They're saying, where are we going to eat? And they're going through all these different options where they could eat. Finally, her father's like, we're going to Cracker Barrel. And he just, and the next one, like, enough debate. So they pull in, and the waitress comes up, and they're in like the heart of the South. Now, you know, they haven't seen a sister looking like this, maybe ever, you know? Right. So the waitress comes up to the table, and she's like all smiles, and she says, oh my God, I love your dress. And then she said, or habit, right? You call it habit. And so sister knew, oh, she must be Catholic, because like, who knows the lingo that it's called a habit. So anyway, she struck up a conversation with her, and the waitress was asking, like, where do you come from? And what do you do? And sister shared that she's a sister of life, and that we help women who are pregnant and in need. And immediately the woman filled up with tears, and she knelt down very close to her and leaned in, and she said, where were you when I needed you? Where were you when I needed you? And sister knew immediately that she had suffered an abortion, and like so many women who had done it in desperation, feeling like she had no other choice and there was no one supporting her at that time. And so sister told her about our Hope and Healing mission to women who are suffering after abortion, and told her that, you know, Jesus revealed himself. He is the divine mercy, and he wants to forgive. There's no sin that's too big for him to forgive. And as it happened, our sisters were actually going to do a training for some people in the South, not far from where they were. And they were going to be hosting a day of prayer and healing down there in about 2 months' time. So sister was able to connect them. She gave her our phone number. And I was so moved by this because, first of all, I was thinking, well, I mean, the point of the story is just how such a brief encounter, if you are open to receive the other and you have this kind of receptive, loving presence, God's going to work through it, you know, like, and do amazing, unexpected things. And his providence is just amazing. I mean, when you think of the fact that they weren't even supposed to be in Alabama.
Amazing.
What are the chances that they would have pulled into that Cracker Barrel and been seated in that waitress's section on that day, you know, and that our sisters would be going down to that area 2 months later.
That's amazing.
It's really, and I mean, I was so moved because I just thought, this is like the Good Shepherd at work,
Right.
2020. Like he's still moving, seeking out his lost sheep, wanting to draw them back, pull them close to his heart. So I was just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you share that we as Catholic female leaders being receptive to the other in every moment of our lives. So at that moment, Sister wasn't on the clock, so to speak, right? She wasn't sitting at her desk.
Yeah.
She wasn't at one of your locations, right?
Yes.
She was in a Cracker Barrel. She was eating with her family, but at all times of our lives. So we integrate our faith into every ounce of our lives is something that we really want all the women in Given to embrace and to thrive upon, because there's so much grace there when we are receptive to all those moments that the Lord has for us. Oh, that's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, sister. Well, as we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to share before we end our time together? Any message to the women who are watching?
Oh gosh. Oh, just know that that you are cared for deeply, and yeah, that you have a home in the church. The church is our mother, and she embraces us and wants to hold us and support us, and know that we at Given love you very much, and we're here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything.
Well, thank you for joining us, sister. Thank you so much.
All right, God bless.